Shalom, shalom, Israel. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which the world calls God, and Yahweh is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men. They're going out there, they're laboring, right? They're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only that, but they're enduring the elements, the 100-degree weathers, freezer below codes, and everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. Want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty Aqua, right, that are at home reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things, tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High God. Shalom, shalom. Last but not least, I want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty teenagers and children in this truth, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in the last days. Right? And shalom, last but not least, to everybody that's tuning in to the live stream and that will tune into the live stream, Most High willing. Right? So the topic of this cold cut is the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Being out there amongst the elements, nature plus more, right? And this is, the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, right? If you're keeping it, October 5th at sundown, the 8th day through the Spirit. And you might have, kept the Feast of Tabernacles earlier this week, and it was beautiful. And there's many-fold different aspects going into the Feast of Tabernacles. Like brother said, it's not a camping trip, right? It's not, it's just a camping trip. It is what it is. No, it's a lot of beautiful things that you could get prepared for the feast, going to the Feast of Tabernacles. A lot of things you get to experience. It's a lot to learn while you're out there amongst the elements. So we're going to be diving into the elements, right? Going out there in the wilderness. How can it boost your level of subconsciousness, your spirituality, going into the manifold beautiful aspects of the Feast of Tabernacles. All right, so let me see if I can pull this up on the screen. It's like on the screen. It's like you bear with me. All right, see if I can pull this up. All right, kind of Lord willing, brothers can see this. All right, so let's first kick it off with the book of Leviticus, the law, chapter 23. All right, let's kick it off with Leviticus chapter 23 and verse number 39. Right? Leviticus chapter 23 and verse number 39. It says, also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. So during this week, right, you might have kept or should be keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. And you will be out there amongst the wilderness, man, right, amongst the elements. Now, while you're out there amongst the elements, and it's not the first time you might be out there amongst the elements, all right, but a lot of brothers and sisters, their only time of being out there amongst the elements is when they came into the truth, when they found out about the Feast of Tabernacles, when they found out that our forefathers were pilgrims and they were in the wilderness, right? And our forefathers, this is not the first time that our forefathers, they It is oftentimes where they went into the wilderness, man. A plethora of times. And not only that, they were comfortable. And your first time you going out there, you might not really be comfortable like that, man. You might say, well, hold on, this is new to me. It's gonna be creatures out there, bugs. What do I do? All right. Am I gonna be safe? Hey, our forefathers in the ancient world, they loved being outside. They loved being amongst the elements. They was comfortable with being amongst the elements, right? And it's gonna come a day where you're gonna be forced to be out there. There's no excuse. All right. Now let's go to 2nd Maccabees, chapter 5. Right. Let's go to 2nd Maccabees, chapter 5, and verse number 27. 2nd Maccabees 5 and 27. It reads, but Judas Maccabees with 9 others, or thereabout, withdrew himself into the wilderness and lived in the mountains after the manner of beasts with his company, who fed on herbs continually, lest they should be partakers of the pollution. Hey, so Judas Maccabees, he was out there amongst in the elements, man. He was in the wilderness. He lived after the manner of beasts. And the reason we going into this, because when you're out there amongst the elements, right, it's a different spirit that comes with it, man. It's a whole different spirit. A lot of brothers, they just used to being at their job in the warehouse all the time, got the little glasses on, construction. But hey, guess what? Our forefathers was oftentimes outside. We're not a people that's used to the indoors, right? You will be a fool to, think the Israelites is a people that's used to indoors. And read the book of Exodus, man. How that we were in the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights. Right? Read about that. The Israelites wasn't just in a building. Now the Lord could have proved us in a building. But it's something about the outdoors, which we're going to dive deeper into through the Spirit. Right? It's the book of Matthew, chapter 4, and verse number 1. It says, then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And so Yahushua, he was out there in the wilderness, man. He was amongst the elements. You have certain, you have women in this truth, they scared to go outside. They say, you know what, that outside, that outdoors, it's not for me. You have certain men, they just in the room all day on the video game. Don't go outside. Don't go to work. They just in the house all day, in the room. That's off. Again, the Most High programmed us to be a people who fit for the outdoors. Let's go to John. Right? Actually, yeah, let's go to John. Actually, that might be Matthew. All right. It's Matthew chapter 3. All right, let's go to Matthew, 3rd chapter. Right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 3 and verse number 1. Matthew chapter 3 and 1. And in those days came John the Baptist preaching in the wilderness of Judea. So John the Baptist, he was in a wilderness. Again, there's many accounts of our forefathers being out there amongst the elements, being outside. Let's go to Genesis, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 24. Genesis chapter 24. And verse number 63. Right? Genesis chapter 24 and verse number 63. It reads, and Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. So Isaac, it was accounted, written in the scriptures, Isaac went out in the field to meditate at eventide. So guess what? Isaac was in the field. Abraham was out there. And we just read in 2 Maccabees chapter 5 that Judas Maccabees, he was in the wilderness and he lived after the manner of beasts. Now, the reason why we're going over this because it's going to come a time where you're not just going to be outside for the Feast of Tabernacles. But you know what? It's the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Time to go into the wilderness. Time to go outdoors. Let's go somewhere far away. No, hey, it's coming a time where you're going to be forced to be outdoors, man. You're not going to have you're when all hell breaks loose. You think you're going to be in the buildings? Right? It's going to be no heat. It's not going to be technology. Right? It's not going to be the Feast of Tabernacles. And you're going to have to be out there. You're going to dwell like pilgrims. You're going to be on the go. You got a lot of breath oil. I'm going to just wait to the Feast of Tabernacles. Then I'm going to go outdoors. Well, brother, you're going to be forced to go outdoors. You're not going to have a choice. And that's the times that we coming into. The days we coming into, guess what? You're going to be forced to be outdoors, man. You're not going to have a choice. And it's either you're going to be used to it. You're going to be used to it right now, how our forefathers was, or else you're going to learn when you get caught out there. You're going to get caught out there. You're not going to know what's going on, and you're going to have to deal with it. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and verse number 40. 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, be as pilgrims upon the earth. What does it mean by in those evils? What evils is coming? Everything that's mentioned earlier in the chapter of 2nd Esdras 16. 2nd Esdras 15. Let's jump up. Let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse number 18. It reads, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. See that? So famine, sorrow, mourning, death, all of those are classified as evils. What shall I do when these evils come? So guess what? In those evils, you're going to be a pilgrim, right? You're going to be outdoors, man. It's going to be like the purge. Let me see if I can pull that up. All right, the purge. Hey, a lot of people going to be trying to be indoors. Right, brothers have seen this movie, man. The Purge. All right. Guess what? This is what it's going to come to. And if you're not, everybody's not going to have the ability to be safe indoors. You're going to be outside, man. And if you're not adapted, if you're not comfortable with being out there amongst the elements, if you don't have no experience, man, we don't know what to tell you. May the Most High protect you and be with you and guide you. Nevertheless, guess what? It's a lot of things that go on out there, right? It's a lot of things that take place. And again, we're a people that's fit, that's used to being outdoors. Let's go to that in Songs of Solomon. All right, let's go to Songs of Solomon, chapter 8. Down south, they love being outside. They eat outside down south. I was talking to a brother. He said, yeah, we eat our meals out there. All right. Up north, Jake not eating his meals outside, man. Back in now, eating it inside in your house at your table. And the brother said, hey, back back when he was little, he used to eat his meals outside. All right. It's the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse number 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black, right? Because the sun have looked upon me. So guess what? What happens when the sun looks upon the Israelites? All right. What happens? Hey, we get darker. Hey, our skin glows. Your skin starts shining out of nowhere. It's because, guess what? The Most High has created us people to be outdoors. Now, guess what? It's certain people on the earth, they can't be up, they can't be amongst the elements. They can't be outside. And the so-called white man, he can't stand 5 minutes in the sun. Because the Lord, let's actually go to that. Let's go to the book of Genesis. You read about Cain being cursed from the earth. Let's go to that. All right. Let's go to that in the book of Genesis chapter 4. Right, it's the book of Genesis chapter 4 and verse number 12. Right, Genesis chapter 4 and verse 12. It says, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. I'm going to start at verse 11. I'm going to start at verse 10. Genesis 4 and 10. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground, and now thou art cursed from the earth. So Cain, he got cursed from the earth. Right? What does it mean to be cursed from the earth, man? Meaning the earth is against this man. The elements are against him. The sun, the moon, the waters, the animals, the trees. Different things is against Cain. Why? Because he was cursed from the earth, man. The Most High put, that's one of his, that's his judgment for killing his brother Abel. Right? One of the judgments of Cain is that he will be cursed from the earth. And guess what? He has to deal with it. All right? Banish. Finish. And that's the same thing with the so-called white man. Right? Everything, even the animals is against this man. Let's go to that in Job. Chapter 20, I believe. Right? Even the animals is against this man. The sun is against him. But when it comes to the Israelites, guess what? Everything is with us. But we don't know that because we too ignorant. Jake doesn't know that. Well, you have certain men, they start to find that out. Yeah, we need to be outside. But then they start worshiping outside and they put that over the Most High. Let's go to Job, chapter 20. Right, it's Job chapter 20 and verse number 27. Right? Job chapter 20 and 27. And it reads, the heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. So guess what? The so-called, it's talking about Esau. And this, when you go into this dark parable, the heaven's going to reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Meaning the people, the animals. And you have animals, they attacking. You have Esau, they having these pet tigers, and they starting to attack them, man. Bees hate them. Even the worms hate this man, the elephants. Look what he's doing. He's making all of the animals go extinct. Right? So guess what? It says the earth shall rise up against them. Now that's with that nation. with the nation of Israel, guess what? The earth loves us, man. Right? We're fit to be outside. We're fit to be amongst the animals, amongst the plants. So when you on the Feast of Tabernacles, it's a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, you learn being outdoors. And you supposed to link it all up with the precepts. Now we going into this because man is not on the same spiritual level for a lot of reasons due to not being outdoors, right? Not observing certain things. When you read the book of Proverbs, Solomon, he was going into the animals. Let's go to 1 Kings. Let me get that real fast. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Kings, chapter 4. Right? Let's go to 1 Kings, chapter 4 and 32. And it reads, and he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of the trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop tree that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowls, and of creepy things, and of fishes. Now, how does Solomon know about the beasts, and the fowls, and the creeping things, and the cedar trees? That means he was outside. That's how we knew about those certain things. Again, nowadays, man is around a lot of technology. In front of a TV all day. You have Eve, she can't stay off her cell phone. But guess what? You have a conversation with her in person. She can't even hold a 5-minute conversation. All right. Right? You got little kids, they on the tablets all day. Technology has dumbed down the masses of people. Where everybody there in the house, they're on the Wi-Fi. But guess what? That's why their level of consciousness is so low. That's why man can't attain to that old spiritual level. Because it used to be a point in time where man used to be on a high spiritual level, man. To the point where you, back then, you could be able to discern an angel. Like Lot did. Let's go to that. Right? It's the book of Genesis, chapter 19 and verse number 1. It says, and there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. So Lot was able to discern if these men were angels or not. Now, guess what? We're not discerning. In 2023, man is not discerning. I mean, unless you have a high level of discernment, but even then, you still wouldn't know. Men is not discerning. Oh, that's an angel. You see a brother at camp, another man, random stranger come up, the brother just bow himself to him. Hey, brothers be like, well, hold on, what's going on? Because man is on a low level. We're on a low spiritual level due to the manifold evils and the devices that's on this earth. Right? The only thing that's still kind of the same is nature. Man is turned into homosexual now. Men dealing with men, women with men, women. It's a lot of lust going on, lewdness, right? Covetousness, theft, murders. And you go out there amongst the elements, things are still the same, man. The birds still chirp in the morning. The animals, they're not changing their kind. A male lion is not saying, hold on, you know what? I want to be a female lion now. No. The trees are still nice and tall. The sun is out every day. The moon is out at night. The fishes, the water. So it's a different spirit behind it, man, that lets you tap in, and you can kind of tap into the ancient world. Now let's go to Hebrews chapter 13. So we used to be on a high spiritual level in the ancient world. Discerning angels, right? Talking, Moses, he spoke with the Lord face to face. Talking to an angel. Right? You're not talking to the angel, man. Man used to be able to talk with the Most High via dreams and visions on a high level, in-depth visions like he did Daniel. But things have waxed old. It's Hebrews 13:1. It says, let brotherly love continue, and be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So you don't even know it, but you might be entertaining an angel. And you might see an Eve, she snapped, and she cursed out. And I seen this one Eve, she snapped on this man and cursed him out. I'm thinking in my head, well, Wayne, what if that was the angel? She wouldn't know that. She just snapped because she thought he was acting slow. So, man, we have been, even now, it's not even a lot of conscious people left. You know, I was talking to this elder, and he said, at one point in time, you could walk outside and everybody, his brothers talking about consciousness on the corners. Revolution. They going into it. How to better themselves as a people. They talking about real things that really need to be talked about. Now you go in the corner, you got men talking about some loud. And the Lord not dealing with that, man. So you see how things has waxed worse. You see how the times has changed. All right. That's off. Right? Talking about what's the deal? I got the deals. Hey, back then you had men say, you know what, this is what we need to do in the household. You had women back there being conscious. Eve, she just worried about her nails and her eyelashes all day and how good she looked on her outer appearance. So even the women has changed. Let's go to second address. Chapter 16. It's like in chapter 14. All right, let's go to the book of second address, chapter 14, and verse number, see what I want. Verse 16. Second address 14 and 16. It says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall be done hereafter. Look how much the world shall be weaker through age. So much the more evils shall increase upon them that dwell therein. So as time goes on, things is going to get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. All the way, hey, look during the time of the Garden of Eden, where things were strong. That was the elder world. Man was tapped in. But now, over the age, things got weaker and weaker. All right? And it shouldn't be like that, but guess what? You know, we trying to get back to the ancient world. We trying to get back to our first estate. Now, that's really going to happen in the kingdom. Because, it's, you know, it's only so much you could do now. But guess what? You know, things have waxed old. All right? Let's go to the book of, let's read on. For the time is far fled away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. All right. So being out there amongst the elements, it affects your spirituality as well, which we're going to go into. Nevertheless, it's a lot of things you can learn from being outdoors. Let's go to Job chapter 12. All right. It's Job chapter 12 and verse number 7. It says, but ask now the beast, and they shall teach thee, the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Right? So it's a point in time where man used to be able to observe. Man still does it now, but it's not on a high level. Man used to be out there amongst the elements observing the beast, certain characteristics of certain beasts. It's a lot of things you can learn from animals. The fowls, it says, or speak to the earth. Right? You have George, let's see if we can pull that up. You have George Washington Carver. He said he was actually speaking to his plants. Right, let's go to it. It says, according to the book, The Man Who Talked to Flowers, Carver felt his gift to understand the nature of everything from peanuts to flowers came by talking and listening to nature. See that? So the more he understood, what helped him understand more about his peanuts to the flowers, it all came by talking and listening to nature. Now, if you talk to nature, people say you're weird. What is he doing? Right? I seen that listening to this rap music. Ah man, he's weird. What is she on? Hey, but back then this man was talking to this plants, man. Listening to nature. All right, amongst the elements. That's a whole world inside of itself. See that? Says all flowers talk to me, and so do hundreds of little living things in the woods. I learn what I know by watching and loving everything. That's a great spirit to be in, seeing that we're coming into the days. We're going to be forced to learn these things. You're going to be forced to be out there amongst the elements. Again, you're not just going to be, oh, the Feast of Tabernacles come, let me just go out there. No, you're going to be forced. You're not going to have a choice. And you want to make sure you're prepared for that. You know. So let me see if I can pull up this article. Let me see if I can pull it up. Dive into this article. Right? So through the spirit, diving into this, it says 8 health benefits of getting back to nature and spending time outside. It says, in all honesty, Mother Nature may find the indoor world pretty tough to compete with sometimes. After all, she can't offer flat screen TVs, air conditioning, or Wi Fi, but she might potentially offer something even more important: improved health by way of a stronger immune system, better sleep, reduced stress. Spending time outdoors can boost physical and mental health in a range of ways. You don't have to spend hours at a time outside before those benefits kick in either. So it's going into, how nature, hey, again, when you out there amongst the elements, you're not gonna have your flat screen TV, man. You're not gonna have, you got certain kids. I seen this one little Eve, it's like 2 years ago. And she had an iPhone like 12 Max, 5 years old. Didn't know what was going on. Then the school system, they trying to figure out why these kids can't read. Well, look what's stopping them, right? The distractions. It's again, when you out there amongst the wilderness, there's no TVs, there's no Wi-Fi, right? There's no TikTok. You got Jake and Ide on TikTok scrolling, making the TikTok videos, dancing. There's no TikTok, no Snapchat, but spending out time indoors it can improve your mental and physical health going into it. Right? Let's go to number 1. It says better breathing. Air pollution can trigger allergies, asthma, and other respiratory diseases, which you may already know. It might surprise you to learn, though, that indoor concentrations of air pollutants are often 5 times higher than outdoor concentrations. So guess what? You know how much air, if you're living in urban conditions, urban areas, it's a lot of air pollution. So a lot of people, they have different respiratory diseases, asthma, allergies. Well, that comes some of the time, majority of the times, some of the times it could come from the environment that you're around, the air pollution. Jake, I need my inhaler. Well, guess what? If we was in the ancient world, I don't think it was inhalers in the ancient world. Right? I don't think it was, did these different medications for your allergies. It wasn't none of that because the out there, the outdoors, the elements that the Most High created, that's what will help you. It says, but spending more time in natural green spaces could help lower your risk of respiratory concerns. In 2016, examining the relationship between local greenery and mortal risk followed 108,630 women for 8 years, compared to the people with the least greenery in their neighborhoods. It says people with the most greenery were 34% less likely to die from respiratory diseases. You'll generally find the freshest air in places with high air circulation. For example, camping in an open field may give you more relief from pollution than resting along a river walked in by skyscrapers and factories. See that? So that's the first tip. That's the first benefit of being out amongst the elements. Things to think about, during the Feast of Tabernacles. It says, verse number 2, improve sleeping. Typically, your body's internal clock follows the sun, making you feel awake during the daytime and sleepy at night. Although artificial illumination can mimic natural light, direct sunlight has 200 times the intensity of office lights in a closed room. As a result, sunlight affects the circadian rhythm more than electrical light. Exposing yourself to sunlight can improve your sleep by helping you feel more tired at night, shortening the time it takes to fall asleep, and improving the quality of your rest. See that? So it's even benefits with the sun. The Most High put the sun up there for, it's a lot of reasons to be a great light during the day, to help out with certain things. Guess what? In 2023, the Israelite, our sleep quality is horrible. And it's certain Jakes at my job at the plantation walking around with coffee in their cup, bags underneath their eyes, they putting in overtime. Hey, you can't really, especially you in these, fleshly bodies, you're not really getting sleep like that. Go to that inside rack. Hey, the sleep in America is horrible. The sleep in Babylon the Great, it's not real sleep for real. But guess what? That sleep could be improved by being outdoors. And sleep promotes health. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 40. Sirach 40:1. It says, great travail is created for every man, and an heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam, from the day that they go forth out of their mother's womb to the day that they return to the mother of all things. Their imagination of things to come, and the day of death trouble their thoughts and cause fear of heart. From him that sitteth on a throne of glory unto him that is humble in earth and ashes. So great travail is upon every man. The heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam, meaning being in these fleshly bodies till we come out of the womb, till we go back to the dust. Verse 4. For him that weareth purple and a crown, and to him that is clothed with a linen frock. Right, so these different men, whether you sitting on a throne, whether you humbled in earth and ashes, whether you wearing purple and a crown, or regular clothes, you still have to deal with the day of death, and it's going to trouble your mind. It says wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death and anger and strife. And in the time of rest upon his bed, his night sleep do change his knowledge. Hey, these things you got to deal with while you sleeping, man. And now, when you get sleep, a lot of things, you get wicked dreams, right? The dreams be off. Can't really sleep. Thinking about something that happened during the day. That's plaguing your mind. Verse 6, this is the point. A little or nothing, it says rest. And afterward in his sleep, as in the day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart, as he were escaped out of the battle. Hey, that explains, the sleep. You don't really get sleep. Like, you wake up, time moving fast. You got to get right back up to the plantation. Can't really enjoy the Shabbat because the time just going super fast. Got to make sure you're praying because this demon's trying to attack you. Hey, there's no rest here, man. You might have a nightmare. You wake up, man, what's going on? So dealing in these flesh, just already, enough hell we have to deal with as it is. But being outdoors can improve that. From experience, it can. Let's go to Micah chapter 2. Let's go to the book of Micah, the second chapter. It's the book of Micah, chapter 2 and 10. It reads, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. So this place, guess what? It is no rest. No such thing as rest here. All right, just playing. Guess what? Getting sunlight, it can improve, quality of your sleep. It says the nice thing about sunlight, it doesn't cost a thing. To get a daily dose, you only need to step outdoors. Just keep in mind that sunlight needs to enter into your eyes to affect your circadian rhythm. If you're hoping to improve your sleep, picnicking at the beach may help more than a napping in a shaded, wooded area. All right, we're going to go into this a little bit, later, personally. But you could go into that as well, going into the circadian rhythm. Number 3, reduce depression symptoms. Sunlight can often help ease depression symptoms like low mood and fatigue. Light therapy can help treat both major depression and seasonal depression. If you have seasonal depression, you may notice improvement after a few days. If you have major depression, it may take up to 2 to 5 weeks before you notice improvement. Experts still are completely sure how sunlight affects depression. You see that? So when you look on the average scale in America, you know how many Americans are depressed? especially come wintertime. It's a lot of demons. Depression is a spirit. Jake, you just got your head down with it. Going to work, gotta come home, deal with your woman. You catching hell from her. You gotta go back in. Then you got demons you dealing with, and you might be poor. You might not, you might not be financially stable. Eve, she's depressed. She's insecure about herself. Do I look good enough? Am I pretty? Somebody want me for who I really am? So depression is a spirit that the Lord created to put upon men and women that's chiefly not keeping his commandments. Let's go to that in the law. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Don't want to eat anything. Don't really want to drink anything. You just want to be to yourself. And you have certain Jakes, they have that all my friends are dead spirit, man. Right? This is one Jake in the hallway a long time ago. Right? He had a hood up. He was wearing all black. Had his dreads dyed purple. Playing All My Friends Are Dead by Lil Uzi. Right? Playing Little Peep. And the Lord not most side. Look, that's a spirit that's heavy on the earth. You got Gothics. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. And verse number 65. It says, and amongst these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither the shoulder that thy foot shall have rest, but the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. So depression is actually listed in the curses of Deuteronomy 28, 65. You're going to have depression. You're going to be depressed because you wasn't keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. And it's a lot of things that still come with, being in the truth that might cause you to be depressed. Might have a loved one that might have died, things like that. Nevertheless, going into it, you could have reduced depression symptoms. Right? You have the sorrow of the world, and then you have the sorrow which bringeth forth repentance, the godly sorrow. And you don't want to have the sorrow of the world. All right, let's get that in 2 Corinthians, the 9th chapter. Let's go to 2 Corinthians, chapter 9. Let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 9, and maybe chapter 7. Okay, this 2 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse number 9. It says, now I rejoice, not that you were made sorry, but that ye sorrowed to repentance. For ye were made sorry after a godly manner, that ye might receive damage by us and nothing. So you have godly sorrow. That sorrow you might have just went off. You might feel bad. Man, I just want to serve the Most High heart. Man, I messed up. I really want to make things right. That's the godly sorrow which worketh repentance. It says, for godly sorrow worketh repentance to salvation, not to be repented of, but the sorrow of the world worketh death. You don't want to be caught up in the sorrow of the world, man. Got people that got suicide, they want to kill themselves. Might not have a job, you going through it. Right? You have Eves, they got, baby daddies, man. You got Jake got baby mamas on child support getting his checks milked by the hundreds. You don't want to have, you got people, they smoke weed to help the depression. But guess what? All it takes is, a little bit of sunlight. Reading on, certain people believe sunlight has a protective effect since that it can help your body produce vitamin D. It is also possible that sunlight improves sleep, which in turn reduces the severity of depression symptoms. If depression has sapped your energy, you can still get sunlight fairly easily. Try observing your daily dose while eating lunch, reading a book, or doing some good old-fashioned sunbathing. Just don't forget the sunscreen. Moving on. Number 4, more motivation to exercise. Working out in green spaces could help boost your motivation to exercise in the future. In part because outdoor exercise can offer a nice change of pace from gyms and make physical activity more interesting and enjoyable. Make it easier to socialize, as many gyms have unspoken rules about not chatting to the person on a treadmill next to yours. Feel easier and less strenuous. According to the 2013 research, suggesting people who walk outside tend to exercise at a greater intensity and report less exertion. So they say even, working out outdoors, that could boost your motivation. All right, reading on. Mental restoration. It reads, the modern word, hold on. The modern world contains plenty of intrusive stimuli. Flashing screens, vibrating phones, rumbling roadways that can compete for our limited attention. This ongoing overstimulation may raise your stress levels without you even realizing. The natural world, on the other hand, can offer a mental and emotional refuge when you need to unwind and recharge. And nature's soothing attractions for your senses, from the perfume of flowers to the music of bird songs, can hold your attention without draining your mental energy. So what it's saying is, you having, cell phone, right? You might have a computer, flash. You see in flashy screens all the time. Hey, when you go on your phone, you have something called screen time. I remember one time I looked at a brother's screen time, right? And it shows you how many times you picked up your phone on there. And this brother picked up his phone over 1,000 times a day. Just pickups. Just looking at his phone. There's one brother's on his phone for like 15 hours a day. Right? So all of that is messing with your mental health. That's why a lot of people, they stressed out. A lot of people have anxiety, can't hold conversations, kind of acting weird, head down, nervous all the time. Well, it's because of the technology that the so-called white man has set up, when you could be amongst the elements, whether that's a nearby park, you should be able to go there to, recharge, like they said, unwind, boost your mental health, spirituality. Reading on. Research from 2020 suggests spending time in nature can help you feel more relaxed and focused, especially when you take time to notice your surroundings. To get these benefits, you might consider doing slow-paced, contemplative activities like hiking in the woods or kayaking in the lake. And I will say from experience, kayaking is one of the most top 10, maybe top 5 beautiful experiences I ever experienced in my life. It was a different type of, this and, seeing the moonlight. It's a different type of experience. So definitely on point with these different tips. Number 6, boosted immune function. Expert guidance suggests that you're less likely to contract a virus that causes, we're not gonna say the word, but that the pestilence, not to mention other viruses. When outside, that's because air circulation can dilute the presence of viruses in the air. In fact, according to 2020 research, the chances of transmission are 18.7 times higher indoors than outdoors. Even ignoring the pandemic for the moment, spending time outdoors can help your immune system function optimally. Microorganisms found in nature that are dangerous can run practice drills with your immune system in a manner of speaking to help prepare it for more serious infections. If you live your life in a completely sterile environment, your immune system can lose its ability to recognize what is and isn't dangerous. It may then set off a red alert for any microorganism it comes across, which could lead to chronic inflammation. See that? So while soap is a wonderful invention, get muddy once in a while can be good for you too. So that's, something you could look. Another tip. Number 7, there is some evidence to suggest children who spend plenty of time outside have a lower chance of developing myopia or nearsightedness. One 2020 study included 10,743 children between the ages of 9 and 11. In Tabernacles, researchers found that children who spend more time outdoors at recess were 22% likely to develop myopia than their peers. Increasing the eye work distance when doing close-up work and taking a break after 30 minutes of close-up work also offers some protection. So, they going into how the outdoors, it helps children, with their vision. Like I said, a lot of children, they're blind. Not just children, but, if you grew up in, this generation or early 2000 or late 2000s rather, you got a lot of headphones and Jake be having his headphones blasting to his ears. Hey, when you get older, that stuff messes with you. If you sat in a computer screen for 25 years in your life or playing video games or in the house, as you get older, that stuff starts to mess with your sight. You're not going to be able to hear that well. That's why this older Jake, he was basically going into how, the headphones it messed him up. He can't really hear like that. Reading on. Experts might have suggested a few potential reasons why spending time outside might protect against myopia. Natural light offers a broader and richer collection of light-weathering lens to see with. The outdoors let your eye practice looking at objects from various distance. Light stimulates the retina to produce dopamine, which prevents your eyeball from stretching out and warping your vision. This theory has only been tested in animals, though. This benefit only seems to affect the eye while it grows, so spending time outdoors can't reverse myopia in adulthood. However, regular outdoor activities in childhood, like playing catch, swimming, and going sledding, might just save your kid a trip to the optometrist down the line. An added bonus, they also offer great opportunities for family bonding. So that's tip number 7. Tip number 8. Outdoor time can do more than help relieve unwanted or painful emotions like fear, worry, and sadness. It may also help promote emotions that you want to feel more of, like happiness, peace, and optimism. All right. Soundscapes and photographs can offer an appealing backdrop. They may help you improve your mood and state of mind. Still, they can't completely replace actual time spent in nature. Evidence suggests that it may not be simply the color green or the sound of ocean waves that boost your mood. Being present in nature with all of its sights, sounds, smells, and textures meshing together appears to affect emotions more strongly than a virtual replica. So that's why a lot of people, their emotions is all over the place. People can't control their emotions. They impatient. They this, they that. They all certain people they can't sit still. They can't just chill, sit back, sit still. But being out there amongst the elements, you're getting so many in one. You getting the oxygen from the trees, that wild nature smell. You're hearing the birds, the different critters, the sunlight. You might step in a pile of leaves, you hear that crunch sound. All that enhances your emotional state. So it's physical and spiritual benefits to being out there in the wild, in the nature, seeing the sun and the moon, which can help with your spiritual connection towards the Most High. That's why a lot of things are not the same how I used to be in the ancient world, because times has changed. It says what? Going outside at night can also leave you with a sense of awe and connection with the world. Plus, the drop in noise and light can help you focus on the world around you more easily. If you like to forge a deeper or more spiritual connection with the nighttime natural world, consider nocturnal activities like stargazing or night fishing. All right. Now, all of these tips, you could use, and you want to definitely link it up with the precepts first. But let me go to Sirach. These things and the research and the data you could use and you could apply it to yourself. Let's go to Sirach. So this truth is more than just, Esau licking the boot, man. That's not what this truth is about. This truth is more than Christians being cut up. That's all certain men, they want to see this Esau get cut up all day. Well, brother, it's more to that. All right. This Sirach chapter 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. Hey, this truth gets vast. All right. It gets vast, it's deep. And again, it's more to it than the things that man highly esteems. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this video was edifying. Continue to read, pray, fast, study. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for his mercy. Lord willing, this will be the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles. Most High willing, you be able to eat, drink, and be merry, and enjoy your time with your family or friends. With that, I'm going to say shalom.